Hi! This is going to be Wednesday, September 28th, advanced, and we're going to get into one. The homework assigned today is from the blurry screen. Whoop. The website, photo number 3, on there I made a few small little changes. You can still tape it in, which is option 3. The letter thing, which is option 2, change that just a little bit. Now if you take a look at it, I chose the letters for you, which by the way, I chose the letters, I think, A, C-H-E-E-R-L-E-A-D. And what do your letters spell out? A, cheerlead. I was going to do cheerleader, but cheerleader, because going off of the nonfiction article, but cheerleader was 11 letters, and I was afraid that extra one would make you pass out. So I just did cheerlead. But then that was only 9 letters. I was like, oh, I'm one short. So I went ahead and threw a bonus letter in there to make it a round number of 10. And I figure from here on out, I'll just pick the letters for you, and then we'll see how well you can conform to my letter choices. Even though you have like the letter E 3 times, like cheerlead. So, and then A twice, we'll see how well you guys can do. And then option 1, the questions from the poems. Scroll down, poems at the bottom. First poem we're going to take a look at is one that's really, really short, just called The Choice of Weapons. And we're actually going to end up applying this poem to a bunch of other poems as we move forward and go from there. With this one, thank you, Larry, volunteering to read this one so we can go through it, and then I'll read it, and then we're going to figure out. This poem is supposed to sound like something you've seen before. It's supposed to sound familiar to you. It's an allusion. An allusion is a fancy word that just means fancy reference to things you've seen before. Go, Larry, go.
The Choice of Weapons by Billy McGinley. Sticks and stones are hard on bones, aimed with angry art. Words can sting like anything, but silence breaks the heart.
Well done. Sticks and stones are hard on bones, aimed with angry art. Words can sting like anything, but silence breaks the heart. What is it supposed to sound like? So baby steps from there. May.
Sticks and stones are hard on bones. That's up.
That's some wonderful mumbling. But yes, the sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. The thing that your parents tell you when you're a wee kid in elementary school and the other jerky kids make fun of you and call you names, and they're like, oh, come on now, sticks and stones will break your bones, but my names will. And of course, what's the problem with this particular saying? Or is there a problem with this particular saying? Is it true that sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you? Hummus?
It's opinionated.
Ooh, how so?
It says, but names will never hurt me. But if someone says a name and you're sensitive,
Then it could.
it could hurt you, like, emotionally.
I can see that. Isaac?
If you threw a dictionary at somebody, words will hurt you.
Yep, that'd be back to the sticks and stones. Good try. On that one, it's the idea that for a lot of people, the words, the saying of things is much more painful than the getting beat up. If you can remember from your youth from so long ago, because you guys are so ancient now, getting bullied when people call you names, those are usually the things that stick with you. For whatever names they called you or the words they said, they'll stick with you longer than some kid that bumped you into the hallway or something like that. So that's the problem. Even though parents tell you that, it's not exactly true. It's just they told you to try and make your life better. So the poem today changes that. It says, sticks and stones are hard on bones when they're aimed with angry heart. Words can sting like anything, but silence breaks the heart. Basically, there's different levels. If you are trying to bully someone, we're going to make this a bully how-to. There's 3 levels of abuse if you were to aim at somebody depending on how much damage you were trying to do to them. The most basic level of abuse. The first level is the one that requires the least contact with someone and the least getting to know anything about them. According to the poem, do you know what the first level of abuse, the most basic level is if you want to abuse or be mean to somebody? Larry?
Ignoring them?
No, it's just the opposite. That'd be the worst thing you could do to somebody. Be brave, bird.
Hurting them?
Is correct. Wait, be more specific. All of them hurt
Beating
you.
them up?
Nicely done. Physical violence. And so, physical violence is level 1. And that's when like the kid bumps you in the hallway. Or if the kid goes by and pushes you down or something like that. Because you don't have to know anything about somebody. All you have to do is walk by like, I don't like you. And you punch somebody. Regardless, they're like, why'd you hit me? I don't know, you just kind of looked at me. And they keep on walking. So that's the first level. But there's a level that goes beyond that. If you want to do even more damage to somebody, you go up to level 2. But level 2 requires a bit more effort on the bully's part, because level 2, you have to be able to know them a bit for it to be effective. What goes beyond just punching somebody? Haley is correct. Verbal violence. But in order for verbal violence to work, you have to at least know something about them. Because if I just go, "You're a big fat fatty fat," you're like, "Actually, I'm really underweight. Thank you. That makes me feel really good about myself." You're like, "Oh, that didn't work." So you have to know something about them in order to make fun of them. So if you think that they're self-conscious about their weight or their height or their skin tone or a rash, you have to know that. So you have to go to the next level. Punching someone, you don't know anything about them. You just walk up, you just punch a kid, like, "Gotcha," and you keep on going. But to make fun of them, you have to go to the next level up, and that's the thing that's going to be a bit more damaging. Those are the things that sort of last with you. And, as Larry pointed out, there's a level 3. And what's the level 3?
Silent or ignoring.
Ignoring someone. And that's where you get to level 3. My question is, why is that considered the most painful of those 3? Vera?
We want undivided attention.
We do want undivided attention. You're on the right track. But it's what ignoring someone indicates to them, I guess, is why it becomes much more painful. Saskovich?
You don't care what they have to say.
It's much better. And so it's the idea that you have, if I punch you, I have to care enough about you to make physical contact. If I make fun of you, I have to care enough about you to find out something about you to make fun of you. If I ignore you, you're not even worth me thinking about you. So that's why it becomes that much more painful. Hey, welcome.
Can I switch your...
With this, by the way, I realized after I found this poem that I use these same 3 levels in my class. I use them to help educate you, if you will. If you don't put your date or title on a homework assignment when I'm walking around, what do I do to help you, Minnie Ninny?
You smack us on the head with the clipboard.
I smack you on the head with the clipboard. Level 1 of me helping you out. If you keep talking out loud in class, what do I end up calling you?
Idiot.
I never call anyone an idiot, Larry. That'd be way too far. But there's a synonym for that I use, which is much nicer.
Stupid.
No, that's also mean. This is part of the issue for your guys' class. You guys don't get to see their levels. You guys only ever really have level 1. Level 2 and 3, 5th period, they got to see levels 2 and 3. This is when I call you guys the slow kids or anything along those lines when you make those poor choices. And I have like, hey, make those slow kid choices. Your guys' issue is, for the most part, you don't make slow kid choices, so you never get to really see that side of it. And you also don't really get to have my slow kid section, which is this area right over here, because when kids lose their B points and they go down to 5 or less, thanks for fixing that, you get stuck over in this area, or in my other classes, you get stuck in the hallway, and you don't get to be in my room at all. At that point, you're not allowed to talk to other kids. You can't talk to me, you can't ask questions, you don't get to participate, you just sit there and look all grumpy, because I'm trying to torture you. And my torturing of you is showing you that whatever you do no longer has worth because you're not doing what you're supposed to. So it goes up to that 3rd level, which is the ignoring and being mean. Not that I'm trying to show you how to torture other people. That was not my goal. It was more to make you aware of your actions as you do them towards others. The damaging effects of these, the being mean and necking someone and smacking someone and stuff like that, is dumb, but it's only the basic level. When you verbally make fun of someone, that's the stuff that's going to cut much deeper. That's going to stay with them much longer. And even worse, when you go to level 3, when you have that friend that does something and all of a sudden you ignore that friend and you cut them out of your life, that is the most damaging thing you can do, because now you're suddenly saying that they have no worth to you and you're removing them. Wrong, Meyer?
So is it considered bullying if, like, the person that bullied you, if you ignore them, would it still be considered you bullying them, but you don't really want them to say anything mean to you, so you just ignore them?
Not necessarily. That's more the turning the other cheek when you're being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
So that would not be. Bullying is a lot with intent, if you will. And so your ignoring of them has to have the intent of making them feel bad. And you're not trying to make them feel bad as much as making them go away. Just like for me, my ignoring a kid when they keep making poor choices isn't always necessarily make them feel bad, but to try not necessarily bring attention to it. Like when everyone else has their desks cleared off and those two kids still have their iPads out and are losing points, then it's not necessarily me bringing attention to it, it's me trying to help them figure out that they're losing points. But after a while, sometimes they go to their own little happy place and they don't even pay attention and notice it.
What you doing there?
Just trying to help out. But see, that's why I don't ever bring up anything, it's just a matter of trying to help guide it. So there we go. We're going to end up using this poem and then connecting it to other poems coming up. Because they're going to see other poems, they have characters that make one of these different levels of choices on there. Now, we're going to take another look at another short little poem. And this is just a little speaker poem to see if you guys can figure out the clues in the poem to help guide us to figure out who the speaker is going to be. Minnie Ninny, did you just volunteer to read by breathing? Well done, dear. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That was very sweet of you. But Minnie Ninny, how many stanzas do we have up there so I know how many we're going to read? How would you know where one stanza ends? Nicely done. That was very nicely done. What's that? You think Sophia should read the other one since she was in the date? That's fine with me. I can go with that too. Sophia, thanks for volunteering to read the second one. As we go through, we're going to try and figure out who the speaker is in this riddle. So you're going to use the evidence and then try to present it to me and figure out who you think it could be. Minnie Ninny, go for it.
I come more softly than a bird, and sometimes as a flower.
And lovely as a flower.
Whatever.
Okay.
I sometimes last from year to year, and sometimes but an hour.
You're Sophia.
I stop the circus railroad train or break the stoutest tree, and yet I am afraid of fire and children play with me.
Well done, dear.
Indeed.
I come more softly than a bird, and lovely as a flower. I sometimes last from year to year, and sometimes but an hour. I stop the swiftest railroad train, or break the stoutest tree, and yet I am afraid of fire, and children play with me. So it's a riddle. Most of you know the other speaker poems, and it's seeing whether you can figure out who the speaker is from the hints that are in there. Before you tell me, I want to do the... This word pops up a lot. You don't know what stout means? Do you guys know what stout is?
Sure, yeah.
More than just short, because we have many people in here who are petite, short, but I would not necessarily refer to them. Sure, thanks Lonnie for speaking up. So Lonnie, you might be petite, but I would say you're not stout. There's more than just being short.
Ooh.
Yes?
You're really short.
Wow. No, you might still call Lonnie really short, no matter how short she gets. Not me, of course. I would never say such words. But no matter how short she gets, you would never say that she is stout. Rardo?
Like, wait, how do I say this without, why?
Did you try to make the word wide by saying it really long?
I'm trying to not offend anyone by making it more high-pitched and avoiding.
Of saying the word like roundish?
Yeah.
Faddish?
Like a circle.
Like, I think you're dancing around it only brought more attention to it, but yes. Stout is one, you're right, it does have to be the short, although you can kind of be bigger, but usually stout is much more of a bigness to you, if you will. Coach Foreman, the girls' cheerleading coach, she would be petite. I would not say she is stout. Coach Modulin, shorter than I am, I would say he's probably stout. Coach Modulin, the business teacher, the guy like that, so that's a much more stout thing. So stout usually is more of a strong thing that's going to be harder to push over or break. Vera?
You could also use the word vertically challenged.
Sure, but that would also not work towards stout.
No, I mean like challenge.
Oh, just referring to her? Wow. Or you could just... Didn't know we were playing the words to describe Lonnie game. But okay, how very nice of you. Then, guesses as to who the rhyming riddle speaker is now using evidence from the poem to prove it. Chapman?
Water.
Why water?
Because it's afraid of fire because...
It evaporates it.
That faded off quickly. Because we definitely do not use water to put out fire. That
Yeah.
would never... Well, that was a good strong start. Come back to you. Frogmeyer.
Is it like a storm because it says sometimes but an hour, like it only lasts an hour, and sometimes the storm can come out of nowhere?
Do children play with
storm?
Yeah, I play in a storm.
Well, we're going to try and expand it beyond just you, but let's see. Lovely as a flower. All right. How does it stop a train?
Well, because sometimes the storm can be so bad that you can't really travel.
And how is a storm afraid of fire?
It looks
The water gets evaporated. Well, sometimes.
Feels like we're reaching on that one just a little bit. Scarf?
Snow,
Why snow?
because it's afraid of fire, because fire will melt it, and children play with it, like they make snowing and mayonnaise.
How is it going to break a tree?
Like it would take the leaves off of it.
Put too much snow on it, too much pressure on it.
Okay, I can roll with that. How is it going to stop a train?
because it can make a big pile of snow and make a big snowman
Or ice.
Okay. Alright, then. How does it? How does it last from year to year then?
Yearly.
Larry?
Because it happens year around in different like sides of the country. Or,
Well, I sometimes laugh means it's always there, so like it never goes away.
it technically doesn't go away though, because on this side it's snowing, and then when it's summer here, it's snowing on the other side.
That one seems like a bit of a reach there. Nitty nitty?
Because there's snow in the north and south.
And when it says in sometimes but an hour?
Ow. But it's still snow. It's a snow.
Scarf?
Well, it lasts from year to year, like the North Pole and South Pole, but
Okay.
sometimes with an hour, like in Indiana, sometimes it'll just like last an hour.
Yeah, that seems pretty solid. I'd go snow also. So,
You did?
yeah. I just wanted to see you guys argue and try to prove it, so I can give you guys those nice sneaky ones, see if you guys go in there and find the evidence to prove the poem. A moment ago, we read the poem with the 3 different levels of abuse. Then, we got to this one, which was our rhyming riddle. And Longmire, what was your guess as to the speaker?
Some type of storm.
Nicely done. You are actually going to lead into our next poem that we're going to take a look at, which is going to deal with a big old metaphor. This one's called Giant Thunder, and I've only given you part of the poem, and we're going to get the second half of the poem in just a moment. What's that, Harris? You want to read the 4 that are up there so far? That was such a bold move on your part. May?
Can I read?
Fine. We'll let you split it with Harris. So Harris, you get the first 2. We'll give May the second 2.
Yay!
Giant thunder striding home, wonders if his supper's done. Hag wife, bring me bones. They are not done, the old hag moans.
Not done, the giant roars and heaves the old wife out of doors. Cries he, I'll have them cooked or not, and overturns the cooking pot.
I know. One poem, so it's fun. It's only half the poem. Give me a moment. It makes more sense in the second half. So right now we're just introducing stuff. Where it says, Giant thunder striding home, wonders if his supper's dome. Hag wife, bring me bones. They're not done, the old hag moans. Not done, the giant roars, and heaves the old wife out of doors. Cries he, I'll have them cooked or not, and overturns the cooking pot. What, Jiggles?
I want to read it.
We're not there yet.
I want to.
Chapman, also excited to read. Well, first, to figure out what's going on, we have 2 characters introduced into our poem that are going to play a big role coming up in just a moment. Leech, who are my 2 characters?
The hag and the giant.
Works for me. What's a hag?
An old person.
Getting closer. I'm an old person, but I'm not a hag.
Old, ugly lady.
I'm not sure we have to throw in the ugly part, but I guess that just makes you feel better. Sure. We have, there's my giant thunder, and there's my hag wife, who's not horribly attractive on that one, that poor lady. And what is it the hag wife is doing? Cooking. And what is giant bones? I'm assuming it just means dinner, because who knows what giants eat. And what is it the giant thunder is upset about?
He does not know.
And so how does he react to it?
He pulls it back.
And so which of the 3 levels would that be?
One.
First level.
Nicely done, first level, because that would definitely be the physical abuse. Although, do we have any level 2 in there?
It says hag wife.
Well, maybe he's just like, not everyone agrees with Sophia and says a hag has to mean ugly. Maybe that's just like their terms
So
for
if
each
you
other.
call someone hag, is it nice? Is it respectful?
No, no. Ooh, we'll do a fun experiment. When you go home tonight, I guess that solves that experiment. So that means hag is not a good thing. I didn't even get to finish the experiment. You guys are like, nope, not good. All of you, if you want an experiment, blame it on me. It's on video. Then you can go, I'm giving them permission right now to come home, and you go, hey, hag, what's for dinner? And then, now, say it politely. I mean, you'll be like, hey, hag. It's like, hey, hag. I mean, it's upbeat. Like, make sure the voice goes up when you say it, and then we'll see how that goes, and see how many of you return. Lonnie?
Well, my grandma's picking me up because my parents are out of town. So would she react badly if I say, hey, hag?
I don't. Sounds like an experiment. When you're like, hey, hag, thanks for picking me up. Like, hold your hand up like for a high five. Like, what up, hag? Wrongmeyer?
Does heaves mean, does that mean like walk out the door, or does that mean the guy threw her out the door?
Ooh, imitate it.
I don't know.
I'm guessing, yeah, the level of abuse. There's a level of hucking involved. So, lifting and tossing. So we have, there's the old bones. There, look at that. Ew, so there's your demonstrating of the heaving out the door. And overturns the cooking pot.
Don't you just love these powerful
What came
special
out?
effects?
They are.
He's an
Oh.
Jiggling.
1, 2, 3. All right. So Vera will give you the first 3 stanzas there, and then Chapman the last 2 stanzas. And now we're gonna figure out it's a metaphor.
Oh no.
So it'll come back in just a moment. There, eager beaver. That the whole him coming home and throwing a fit is one big metaphor. Vera.
He flings the burning coals about, see how the lightning flashes out. Upon the gale the old hag rides, the clouded moon for terror hides. All the world with thunder quakes, forest shudders, mountains shakes. From the clouds rainstorm breaks, village ponds are turned to lakes. Every living creature wakes. Hungry giant, lie you still. Stamp no more from hill to hill. Tomorrow you shall have your fill.
Well done. He flings the burning coals about, see how the lightning flashes out. Upon the gale the old hag rides, the clouded moon for terror hides. All the world with thunder quakes, forest shudders, mountain shakes. From the cloud the rainstorm breaks, village ponds return to lakes. Every living creature wakes. Hungry giant, lie you still, stamp no more from hill to hill. Tomorrow you shall have your fill. While he throws a fit, what's happening down on earth? Giant storm. Where is the lightning coming from?
Coals.
The coals from the fire that he then kicked over. Where's the rain coming from?
Oh, the thing.
Thingy.
It's
Nailed it.
crime.
More so than just a thingy.
I
The
like
wife
the
is
whole
crying.
Not, although that would be one part of it. Once again, where did the coal come from?
The crowd.
The fire. And what was on top of the fire?
The dinner.
And what was in the pot?
Water.
So where's the rain coming from?
The water.
And where's the thunder coming from? Him stomping and throwing a fit. This, by the way, another allusion to something you've heard before. Larry?
Jack and Jill. Or, no, the GameStop one.
Ooh, close. Not necessarily to that one, although it does reference the fact that there was a giant up there. Have you guys ever wanted the rain to stop? That's what they're doing here. The whole idea about hungry giant, lie you still, stamp no more from hill to hill, tomorrow you shall have your fill. It's just a big metaphor using those different abuse levels. Do you know what personification is?
Yes, I do.
What is personification? And then Webb, do you realize it took you down to 6? There you go. Minnie Ninny.
It's when you give.
That was very silly of you. Burka.
When you give an object to human
Yeah,
quality.
Giving an object a human quality. Like saying that your pen bit you or something like that when pens cannot bite. In the second half, we have an example of personification, where we say that an inanimate object has an emotion and does a thing that there's no way it could possibly do. Where's my example of personification in there? Scarf.
When the giant gets angry and throws a fit.
No, but a good try on that one. That's actually just saying that that's the metaphor, if you will, him throwing the fit as the water down here. But not a bad try. Vera?
Okay. The cloud and moon for terror hides.
Why is that personification?
Because the moon can't have terror.
It is correct. The moon can't actually feel any kind of emotion or fear. It's just it going behind the, what do you call it, those clouds and stuff like that. Much like you could say the pile of books on the kid's desk robbed them of their B points. Even though you can't say that books would actually rob anyone of B points. Yeah, where I had like 4 or 5 kids all doing it who were just like seconds early. Fun stuff. We got through all of our fun poems for today. Tomorrow I get to call you all idioms. Friday, poetry quiz.
So you do policy.
Idioms with an M, Larry, with an M.